One of the more puzzling aspects of human development is how our emotional growth often lags behind our physical maturity. We can appear 55 years old on the outside, yet operate like a child emotionally, struggling with impulses and communication. Conversely, some individuals might be physically young but emotionally wise. Understanding and assessing emotional maturity, both in ourselves and others, is crucial for personal growth and meaningful relationships. A deceptively simple question can help reveal our emotional age. How do we respond when someone we depend on emotionally lets us down, disappoints us, or leaves us in uncertainty? This question uncovers underlying patterns of behavior. There are three key responses that indicate emotional immaturity. Let's explore them and their implications. Now, the first response is sulking. When upset, some of us withdraw into a sulk. We feel hurt but refuse to communicate what's wrong. The pain to our pride feels too great and we become too fragile to express our vulnerability. We hope, often unrealistically, that the person who hurt us will magically understand and rectify the situation without any input from us. This reaction mirrors the behavior of an infant who, unable to articulate their needs, hopes a caregiver will intuitively understand their distress. Sulking highlights our reluctance to risk further vulnerability by verbalizing our pain. Now, the second response is rage. When someone disappoints us, we may lash out with titanic fury. This might appear powerful, but it stems from feelings of helplessness and fear. Beneath the anger lies a sense of being adrift and unprotected. The insults and outbursts we direct at others are covert admissions of our own emotional pain and defenselessness. This kind of rage, though outwardly intimidating, is deeply poignant and reveals a tender core of insecurity. Finally, the third response is emotional withdrawal or going cold. Admitting to someone that they've hurt us requires courage because it means acknowledging their influence over our well-being. Instead of confronting our pain, we may build a wall of indifference, pretending that the slight didn't matter. Over time, this habit can disconnect us from our feelings entirely. By avoiding vulnerability, we sacrifice the richness of being emotionally alive, opting instead for a hollow but seemingly safer detachment. Now let's talk about traits of emotional maturity. These three immature responses, sulking, rage, and withdrawal, point to the core markers of emotional maturity. To grow emotionally, we must cultivate three key capacities. The first trait is the capacity to communicate. True emotional maturity begins with the ability to explain why we are upset. This involves trusting ourselves to find the right words and believing that expressing our pain doesn't make us weak. By articulating our feelings, we invite understanding and resolution rather than relying on silent hope or cryptic behavior. Communication requires faith that others are not our enemies, even in moments of stress. The second trait is the capacity to stay calm. Mature individuals understand that self-assertion doesn't require immediate shouting or dramatic outbursts. They give others the benefit of the doubt, refrain from assuming the worst, and respond with measured composure. This calmness reflects inner strength and self-worth, enabling them to navigate challenges without resorting to excessive anger or defensiveness. Finally, the third trait is the capacity to be vulnerable. Perhaps the most challenging marker of maturity is the ability to embrace vulnerability. Emotional maturity involves accepting that closeness with others inevitably carries the risk of being hurt. Mature individuals have made peace with their own emotional fragility and are unafraid to express their needs or tears. They trust in their right to seek help and believe that sharing their pain is a strength, not a weakness. Now, let's discuss the path to emotional growth. These three traits, communication, calmness, and vulnerability, form the foundation of emotional maturity. They are not innate for everyone. Some of us were fortunate to grow up in nurturing environments that modeled these virtues. Others, however, must undertake the challenging task of learning them as adults. This journey is akin to learning a foreign language later in life, requiring effort, patience, and practice. If emotional maturity wasn't part of our upbringing, we shouldn't feel ashamed. At least half of us didn't grow up in emotionally literate environments. Instead, we can approach this journey with humility and determination, dedicating ourselves to understanding the grammar of emotional adulthood. With time and perseverance, we can acquire the tools to navigate relationships with grace and depth. An emotional barometer can be a valuable tool for this journey, helping us better understand and articulate our moods. By developing these skills, we empower ourselves to build healthier, more fulfilling relationships. Discover even more insights on emotional growth by watching my other videos and continue your journey toward deeper understanding and personal transformation.